But Rob, we start with something that is utterly ridiculous. And I'm going to have Rob G come on and kind of explain the report about Jeff Saturday.
Well, as you guys know.
Because, Chris, it is ridiculous. It really is.
Come on.
Go ahead,
All
Rob G.
As you guys know, Jeff Saturday is one of many who has interviewed so far for the permanent head coaching gig at the Indianapolis Colts. Now, most level-headed individuals think, hey, he was 1-7. He obviously didn't do anything to separate himself or show that he's capable of leading a team. So maybe it was more like a favor from Jim Irsay than anything else. Well, according to Jordan Schultz of The Score, Irsay believes that Saturday, quote, has the capabilities to be a coach in the NFL. And he adds in his report, that's exactly why Saturday is in this position and why Indianapolis was going to be deliberate and take their time with the decision because they believe he is firmly in the race to become the next head coach.
Go ahead, Chris. Just go ahead, because I'm sick. Just threw up in my mouth. He should be eliminated from the competition after what we just saw. I mean, it would be a slap in the face. Go ahead. I'm sorry, because I'm already working.
Take him out of his misery and take the Colts fans out of their misery. Rob, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I think Frank Reich is a good coach. Frank Reich, I think, was there 4 years, got him to the playoffs a few times, never had a quarterback. Every year was a different quarterback. It was Phillip Rivers, as ancient as he was. It was Carson Wentz. And this year, when they fired Frank Reich, Rob, they were 3-5-1. And get this, they had beaten the Chiefs. Now, I'm not saying they were better than the Chiefs, but they beat the Chiefs.
Right.
They beat the Jaguars, who made the playoffs and are actually playing this weekend against the Chiefs. And they lost 9 points to the Titans. They lost 1 point to the Commanders. And they were blown out by the Patriots, and he's fired. I think, Rob, in that division, which was weak, won by Jacksonville, and they snuck in the playoffs, I actually think Indianapolis would have, if they had kept Frank Reich, they would have been in the running. I don't know that they would have won it and made the playoffs, but I think they would have been in the running. And Jeff's, it's not like, and look, we said it from the beginning. And so did most people. I'm not going to act like we saw something nobody else did. But you cannot, I mean, come on, man. You can't just hop into the NFL with no experience, even as an assistant and coach. And the fact that they are considering Jeff Saturday to be a head coach, and if this is a favor, Rob, to, he really has aspirations of coaching, in the future. If this is a favor so he doesn't look bad, then make him an assistant or something like that. Let him learn like the rest of the head coaches. And Rob, when I see how some African-American coaches have been treated, David Culley, Steve Wilkes, was it Lovey that was just shown the door after 1 year? Lovey Smith. Rob, they weren't given a shot. So I don't want to hear, but he was learning. He showed potential. He didn't have any experience. These dudes did not get a shot, a legitimate chance. All right? And this is not, the NFL is not the place to be learning on the job. Of course, in every job, the longer you do it, the more you learn.
Right.
So, of course, you keep learning. But when you get a head coaching job, for the most part, you are viewed as somebody who's experienced, somebody who has paid their dues, somebody who has learned a lot in coaching as an assistant or at the college level, whatever it was. And essentially you're viewed as somewhat of a finished product. So you come in and you take the team over and we go forward right away. This is not charity. This isn't about you, my boy. I like you, as the owner, Jim Irsay. And so I'm going to let you learn on the job. That's not fair to the players. These dudes are busting their butt, risking injuries that could affect them for the rest of their lives. and you're giving them a coach that's not qualified. That is not fair. And it's not fair to the fans, Rob, who you want to pay all this big money to go see a team that has no shot because their coach isn't qualified. And again, nothing against Jeff Saturday. He hasn't paid his dues. And he admitted, Rob, that he might be terrible at the job. And if he's 0-8, he'll say that. Well, he was 1-7.
Right.
I haven't heard him say it, though.
And lost the last 7. Chris, spot on. Like you should be disqualified. You jumped ahead of the line, Chris. He had a chance to change the culture, win a few games, and they could have been like, see, we knew it. And he had a chance. And you can't use the same excuses that they're using to justify hiring him are what they use to get rid of a lot of these black coaches, Chris. They give them, say they have no roster, but they don't hold that against Cully. They didn't hold that against, who am I thinking of? Lovie Smith.
The Colts had a better roster than any of those guys.
But those guys were, well, what do you want Lovie Smith to do? Look at the roster. No, get out. Get out, Lovie. Right.
They want him to be happy, and yeah, of course, money helped, but they want him to be happy that, hey, you got a 3-year contract,
you got to look at all that money you taking along, right?
But that's not respectful. We want respect.
Exactly, and the same opportunity and accountability. Why do the black coaches have this accountability for not winning? But Jeff Saturday and Chris, he put together in those 8 games, that first game against the Raiders. And shame on all the people. Me and you, we said it from Jump Street. Shame. I'm going to shame them.
Coaches were sticking their not coaches,
ex-players. You remember that?
The coach was sticking their chest out. Yeah?
They were like, oh, you see, you don't need to be a coach. You just need to be a leader of men. That's all you need. That's what Jeff Saturday is. He played. He been down there in the trenches. Yeah, right. And they also lost a 33-0 lead, Chris.
They were losing in historic fashion.
Right. They didn't just lose.
You're right. They lost in comical fashion. And again, this ain't fair to Jeff Saturday here. I mean, he's getting money. You know, maybe he's gonna coach you. Look,
or go back to ESPN. He's all right.
He's not ready. And why have we heard Jeff say that?
Because
Jeff said, if I'm 0-8,
right,
I'll be the first to say, I'm paraphrasing, I'll be the first to say I wasn't ready.
And you know what? And now he's saying, well, I learned some stuff and I just need more time and my own quarterback and I wasn't able to put anything in. What? No. He really thought, Chris, and so did Irsay, they thought he was going to win 3 or 4 games and they'd slide him in. They did.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Am I right?
This was done.
This was a plan.
He was our coach of the future.
Yes.
Absolutely. No way. No doubt.
They had a plan. We'll circumvent that, having to interview black coaches. I'm going to put my boy in, and we'll circumvent the whole thing. He'll go in, win 3 or 4 games. We'll say the culture's changed. Look how hard they were playing for. They lost, and then they lose the last game when the Texans throw a touchdown, 4th and 20-something, whatever it was, Chris, to beat them. Like, they couldn't even win the last game and gave up the 2-point conversion.
They were losing in comical fashion. And the culture did change. It got worse. I mean, come on.
It did.
Again, it ain't fair to the players. You want these dudes to get out there and risk injury and health and bust their butts, and you're not doing the same? You're not doing a real coaching search. I mean, maybe now you are, but you didn't do a real coaching search.
This is.
I mean, come on.
As far as coaching, Jeff Saturday's a fraud. He's a fraud, and they cannot install him as an NFL head coach.
I still don't think they will, Rob. The league. I mean, look, you don't want to get in the business of telling people who to hire as coach, but they should get a call.
They should get a call.
Irsay should get a private call. Don't have to be public.
From the commissioner.
Exactly. Like, look.
This doesn't look right.
I read this report.
Right.
Now, you're not seriously considering Jeff Saturday, are you? I mean, really, tell them.
Right.
And they've done that in other situations, right?
We know that.
Yep.
In Brooklyn, Didn't the Nets get a call about hiring Udoka? Right? Didn't they get this just doesn't feel right, or like there's situations that I think a league can do that, Chris, and just say this is not good for our league. You got people putting time, effort, energy. We got all kinds of issues going on with the hiring of minorities. That's not to say we already said it.
Right.
We give the
black coach
we're giving them credit. They have had 2 black coaches. I'm not.
Right.
I don't have any problem with the Irsay family.
They weren't
right?
just let's just hire a black guy so we'll be fine for the next 7
Jim
years.
Caldwell was 14-0, Chris, when he started with the Colts.
Yep. And Dungy, of course, won their only Super Bowl.
So I don't have an issue. It's not about that. I don't care who they hire. Jeff Saturday doesn't deserve the job. Just off of what he did not do. Period.
Heck, Rob, at the very least, go get Ryan Clark or Dan Orlovsky.
Couldn't be worse. Couldn't be worse.
Gosh.
And Dan Orlovsky could at least run out of the end zone for a safety for you. Put some points on the board for the other team.
All right, it's the odd couple, Chris and Rob. I mean, and we're not trying to pick on Jeff Saturday.
But this is ridiculous.
This is ludicrous. It is not fair to anybody. Anybody involved, this is not
it's not fair to the players,
no.
Chris. It's not fair to the coaching ranks and people who paid their dues. And it ain't fair to Jeff Saturday, who ain't ready for this.
Or the fans, and of course the fans.
Yes.